In this video, I'm going to make up some of the best fried chicken you will ever taste, and I'm going to use that fried chicken to make up a delicious chicken sandwich. So any fried chicken recipe that doesn't start with a brine is not a good fried chicken recipe. We're going to make up a nice salty brine for our chicken breast. That's going to add salinity all the way through the chicken. It's going to help to keep it nice and tender, and generally just make sure that we've got flavour all the way from the crust right to the very centre bite. So we're going to start off with 1,000 grams or 1 litre of cold water, and 5% of that water's weight in salt, or 50 grams. And for now, we're just gonna get this mixed round. Make sure you dissolve all the salt. You'll know when it's dissolved when the water looks clear again. So our water's looking nice and clear. So you can go in with all sorts of other flavors, aromatics, garlic, other spices, but I like to keep it really simple. I've done many fried chicken recipes, and really I've found a lot of those flavors don't really penetrate that well unless you do a boiled and cooled brine. But then again, our coating is gonna be really flavorful. So that's pretty much gonna do all the heavy lifting in terms of spices and herbs and all that kind of stuff. So I like to start off with just salt, and then take your favorite hot sauce, Texas Pete for me, and go in with as much of this as you want. Get that stirred round. So this is going to add some flavor, obviously, hot sauce flavor, but the vinegar inside this hot sauce is going to help to tenderize the chicken. Just like when you use a buttermilk brine, the acids in that can help to tenderize the chicken. Same thing going on here. And because we're ultimately going to be making chicken sandwiches, I've gone with breasts. If you want to do bone-in chicken with this exact recipe, you can. If you wanted to make sandwiches with boneless, skinless thighs, obviously you can. I'm using chicken breasts. I think they work really well. They're not going to dry out because this brine is going to help to keep them nice and juicy. So we're going to go in with 2 high quality chicken breasts. Pop the lid on. Now that can brine for a minimum of 6 hours, or in my case, overnight. So stick this in the fridge. So another thing we're going to make ahead for tomorrow is some pickles. I'm a big fan of pickles in general, but I really like pickles in a chicken sandwich, kind of going for a bit of a Popeyes chicken sandwich vibe. But I've made pickles on this channel many times, so I'm going to fly through this pretty quickly. Recipe will be down below. Starting off with the pickle brine itself, we'll go in with some water, some white vinegar, some more white vinegar, some salt, mustard seeds, crushed red chilies, and some turmeric for colour. Mix that round, and we'll bring this up to a boil. And while that's boiling, we'll go in with a big handful of dill, a couple of bay leaves or grape leaves to keep things crunchy. Then on top of that, I'm just going to mandolin in some salad cucumbers. Once that's up to a boil, just pour that straight over the cucumbers. Let these cool down completely, put them into the fridge, and tomorrow you'll have some perfect pickles. So in order to make the best fried chicken, I've already said that you need to brine the chicken itself. But one thing I notice about a lot of recipes online for fried chicken is that the actual breading or the coating itself is never quite that good. I find a lot of the recipes that are online are just way undersalted. So I'm going to make up a seasoning flour, and then we're going to split that into 2 and have a wet part and a dry part. And again, the recipe will be in the description below. We're going to go in with some flour, some baking powder, salt, chicken bouillon powder. That's this stuff. You can pick this up from a lot of catering suppliers. White pepper, cayenne pepper, granulated onion powder, granulated garlic, black pepper, and some MSG. Optional, obviously, if you have an intolerance to it or whatever. Get all this mixed together, and there you've got your seasoning flour. Put a lid on this and keep this to the side until we need it. When it comes to sauces in a chicken burger, I like it pretty simple. Usually I just stick with mayo, but today we're going to spice it up a little bit and make a Chipotle Mayo. And you can definitely use a Chipotle paste or powder even, but I think you get the best results if you use some actual canned Chipotles in adobo sauce. If you're in the UK, there'll be a link to where you can buy this down below. So we're going to take a lime. This is going to bring some light acidity to the mayo. Mayonnaise, half a lime juice, a chipotle, and some of that adobo sauce, some salt, and then just a touch of water just to loosen things up, help it to blend. Blitz this all together and you get a creamy, slightly spicy Chipotle Mayo, perfect for this chicken sandwich, and works as a dipping sauce too. So it is the next day. Our chicken's been brining overnight. We're going to set up our breading station now, which is going to consist of 3 separate parts. And following this process is what's going to give you super crispy fried chicken. So this is our breading that we made yesterday. We're going to be having plain flour in here, which is where we're going to start. We're going to have a wet batter here, finishing up finally with the flour mix. And you can use this for all 3 sections. So our first stage is going to be just the flour on its own, nice and dry. And we only need enough in here to lightly coat the raw breast. Next up, we're going to take a container, just using a glass, and fill up 1 part of the seasoning flour. Dump it in there, and then take 1.5 parts water of the same container and mix it in here. You can smell those spices coming out already. So that was 1 part water, and now we're going to go in with our other half. All done. So as I say, we have our plain flour here, or seasoned flour, our wet batter, and our final seasoning flour. So before we get to coating our chicken breast, I'm gonna bring up a pot of peanut oil up to around 325 Fahrenheit. A lot of places say to fry chicken at around 350 to 375, but for me, I find that things get a little too dark at those temperatures. So I like to cook a little bit lower and a little bit slower to get a nice golden crust, rather than one that looks maybe too dark and burnt. And obviously, if you've got enough of it, you could use something like beef tallow. For me today, I'm just using peanut oil. So while that oil is heating up, just want to talk quickly about the buns that I like to use. So for this particular kind of burger, I really like to use the Saint Pierre burger buns. These are not the brioche burger buns. I personally don't like brioche very much, but Saint Pierre do these non-brioche burger buns and they're really high quality. They're really good, soft, delicious. This isn't sponsored or anything. I just wanted to show you this packet so you know what you're looking for. The non-brioche stuff tends to have a black label here rather than gold. So chicken is out of the brine after nearly 24 hours. Get this and lightly coat it in the plain flour. Although this flour is actually seasoned, you can just use plain flour if you want. But given I had a bowl of flour here anyway, knock off all the excess, get it into our wet mix. Make sure all the excess strips off. And then the most important step, getting into our dry flour, well coated. And the key here is to smash it in. Really, really push down, grab it, scrunch it, get as much of that flour to stick as possible. Really help it to adhere. And this is gonna make all those little craggly bits that you get at restaurants. Really don't be shy with how hard you can push this down. That's looking good. You can see all the bits hanging off. Follow the process again. So once this oil has hit 325, you can go in with your chicken. I'm using quite a small pot, so I'm just gonna do one at a time. Just go in gently. Let it set up for a few minutes and then you just want to make sure that it's coming off the bottom. And really all I'm looking for here is a color. Obviously the most important thing is the chicken is done and we can check that with our thermometer. So I want to take it out just before it gets to the golden color that I'm after. You can regularly flip it as well. That first chicken breast is done. It's hitting a safe internal temperature and I've taken it out just before I like the color on it. It will darken up a little bit and yeah, it's looking really good right now. It's very hot. You can see really smashing that flour in gives you that kind of cornflake crust. Really looks like a piece of Popeye's chicken. While our other chicken is frying away, we're gonna make up our chicken sandwich. We're gonna go down first off with that Chipotle Mayo, some of those homemade dill pickles, our chicken breast. Top that top bun with some of this Chipotle Mayo as well. Crown it. And there you go, chicken sandwich. Better than almost every fast food place. That is a pretty good looking piece of fried chicken. And we've got our other piece just here and you can just see how crispy and golden it is. Love all these little crispy bits. I mean, that's never gonna be bad, is it? Let's be honest. Taste. That chicken is still so juicy from that brine. Little heat coming through as well. Honestly, I think I'd be hard pressed to find a better chicken sandwich than that. Super crispy, super flavorful fried chicken, nice sour dill pickles, that Chipotle Mayo just doesn't miss. And yeah, I just can't get enough of this fried chicken. Great texture on it. I'm not gonna be able to eat 2 sandwiches, so I kinda wanna do that. This is probably one of the more disgusting things I've done on this channel. That's enough of that, I'm not eating anymore. But yeah, hopefully this video was useful. Hopefully you try this recipe out. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It really, really does help me out. And I'll see you next week for another video.